Yeah, nah, man. I just it's been a long journey. It's been a long journey, and I feel like, given the time I was in the NBA, I think it was very important for me to, self-reflect and think about all the things that I could have done different, that, kind of shaped me into this person and who I am today. And I was just sitting there the other day thinking about it. I was thinking about it all, man, just where I'm at, how far I've come, the growth, the experiences, everything that I've been through. I thought I was just sitting there. It was one of those days, one of those days where things are just, your wheels are turning. And I said, man, I really should be in the NBA, dude. Like, uh, I mean, I know everyone knows how hard I work, how much I care about basketball, but that's really where it stemmed from. Just one of those days sitting and just thinking about the game, thinking about the highs and lows, and just wanting to be on that big stage and really, really wanting to be closer to home. To be closest to my kids is one thing for them to take. A max 5 hour flight to, let's say, California versus a 20-hour travel day to Asia or somewhere else. Yeah, I said that's a little part of it. More so because you teams like winners at the end of the day, and I feel like I've proven myself to be a winner. Um, but more so than that, I would just say the development, the growth aspect of it. Teams, can find players anywhere, at any level, at any time. So I think it's more so of the growth aspect as a person, the maturity that I've showed through the pain, the struggles that I've been through. I think that kind of helped, and that's what stands out to me, to people around me, to someone who would evaluate me, someone that could ask any of my coaches or any of those things. I've been in the Philippines. I got there at the beginning of 2023. I won three back-to-back championships. So you can ask those guys, every single one of my teammates, the guys that are in their 15th, 20th season. They play with multiple different imports. Like, who is their favorite import? Who worked the hardest? Who wants to win more than anyone? And those are the things that I feel like that really matter, along with working on my jump shot as well. I would think I would start with the locker room part first. The locker room part for me is like the biggest. That's where it's like the barber shop. You look at it like we come in there like you get to sit across from the dudes you go to war with. So it's like we get to open up. We get to talk about, what we're doing, what's going on, life, the game, struggles. I was watching film last night. I don't really understand how my shot wasn't falling. So it's so many different pieces that happen in the locker room. I think the biggest thing is the energy that you bring into the locker room. I think I'm the type of person who, comes in with that mindset of, giving someone. I'm like a big little brother kind of thing where you can like lean on for advice. You can talk to. I can give advice. Uh, I can, we can have a good time. We can go get food. You kind of want to create that balance where it's like we're gonna work hard, but you're also gonna be comfortable enough to, like, if it is a stretch where you're not feeling yourself, you may go from, let's say you're the best player on the team and you're used to averaging 20 to 25 and you've been struggling for a couple of weeks. Now you're at like 18, 19, but we really need you. I think those mentors and those big brothers or those listeners in the locker room are what kind of get those guys over the hump. It's like, I'm really here for you to kind of get you back on track. I'm gonna motivate you, but I'm also gonna listen to you. So I think I bring that dynamic to a locker room, just to get the best out of people at the end of the day. Because I know if I help him, he helps us, and we look good and feel good as a team. But more importantly, you help the person. like as a man, and I think that's much bigger than basketball at the end of the day. But as far as on the court, I'm a person, whether it's the first quarter, the fourth quarter, overtime, we up 20, down 20. If I'm on the court, I'm someone who's gonna work hard, someone who's gonna give it my all, uh, willing, to pick up 94 feet, willing to guard 1 through 5. Uh, I'm willing to not get in the game. I'm willing to support, from a bench standpoint. I'm willing to, incorporate those things that make players better in practice. We have those 5-on-5 scrimmages, those practice, those 3-on-3s, whatever it may be. I'm someone, if you could score on me, I take pride in defense. If you could score on me, you could score on just about anybody. That's my mindset. So I like to think of this as a good thing. When I was in Toronto, in the summer, I was guarding Pascal Siakam. I don't know if you guys remember that season. Pascal was going in 25s, 26s, 30s. He was just playing unbelievable. And I like to think that because of the way I was guarding him, the way I was talking to him, and like making him really have to lock in, it helped him. I'm not saying that his game wouldn't have been what it was, but I think in basketball, any slippage or deviance from, the normal or from the routine of you getting better and you propelling, I think that's kind of where like certain guys fall off or certain guys go down the wrong way because they think because they're so talented that they don't need that push or they don't need that kind of guy that's like chasing after them. And I feel like I was that for him. And I love where he's at now. But yeah, no, I think that's kind of the role I would take on as a player. Um, Whatever they needed from me is, something I'm capable of doing.
Yeah, and obviously that's what teams are looking for, especially with, how the salary cap is being effective, where they're just finding ways to, maximize the players that they have.
I mean, I've seen Nigel playing overseas. I watched a few of his games, but as far as the traction, to be honest, I haven't been on social media. I haven't been in the news. I haven't been paying attention to that stuff because I literally try to like just stay in my lane. I wasn't really one to kind of look for the news or try to see what someone else has going on because I just didn't want to get consumed with it. The mind is a powerful thing. So I didn't want to be the person because I am competitive because I feel like I'm better than a lot of people. I didn't want to be like, questioning myself even more. So I try to limit as much of that noise as possible. But anytime a guy can go overseas and get that chance or the opportunity to reacclimate themselves with the NBA. I think it's a wonderful experience. And then given the things that I've been through, I just think it would be amazing story, an amazing journey, amazing just inspiration to a lot of athletes around there. Just not to give up, to keep fighting, to keep going. And I think it'll inspire a lot of people, especially given the background of everything that's happened.
I think that's a good way of putting it, getting those repetitions and then being able to come back.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think it's a few things, you can look at there, especially given though we were trying to rebuild. We're a young group of guys, and I think at the time I was in that kind of state where it was like they don't really know where to put me at. They don't know whether to play me on the ball. They don't know whether to play me off the ball in the dunker spot. So I think them trying to figure that out in the stages of rebuilding kind of took away from really shining that light on me. But again, at the end of the day, it's about like knowing your role. And I didn't establish my role and really like lock into it. I felt like I was still trying to chase something at that point in my career when I really could have just locked into what they were calling me. They were calling me a defender, a hustle guy, someone who had good energy. So I really should have locked into that. It's kind of like how Draymond is. I really should have locked into that in the beginning careers of my stages. But the egos it was strong for me. I had pride. I felt like I was so much more, and all those things where I needed to be the guy. I needed to be the one that they focused on. And now I'm at the point where it's like, I want to be a part of something special. I want to be able to help. I want to build, something worth building to be able to, show my kids and tell my kids about. I would say honestly, man, it took a while. Literally, I would say 5 years ago was my last game or whatever, and then I was sitting home for a few months, thinking about if I would play again and things like that. And so eventually I ended up going overseas. And, in the transition of going overseas, you're leaving your family, you're leaving the NBA behind. I had in my mind that I would come back. So the team I went to based on the sole fact that I would leave this team and I would come back to the NBA. So my mind still was thinking like, no, it's just an off moment. COVID happened, so it kind of messed everything up. You're still who you are. So that happened. I didn't get a call back. So now I'm still fighting those same thoughts of being like, no, you're still the guy. No, you still can be something special. And then I would say I go the next season, I don't get a deal. So then I end up going to Korea. And I think that's where kinda I was, like, really humble because I was in Korea and, talk about being 1 year removed from the NBA and all these things, and I'm playing 10 minutes a game. And it's kinda weighing on me now. I'm like, "Wait." I'm mentally from a overall standpoint, I felt good because I'm alone, I'm by myself, I'm able to, like, connect with myself on a different level. People don't speak English. I'm in the house, I'm meditating, I'm praying. And then the basketball side, which is the biggest part, which is why I'm here, it started to weigh on me 6 months in. And that's where it was like, all right, now I need to kind of take a step back, humble myself a little bit. And then I ended up going to the Philippines. Uh, After that 6 months, I couldn't do Korea anymore. I ended up going to the Philippines, literally like told the team to send me there. I didn't have a contract yet. So I'm in the Philippines. The GM and those guys are like, wait, who's here? And so they're like scrambling. They're on like a 5 game winning streak. And so they had to make a decision. Their import, he's averaging like 40. His name's Jalen Hudson. He's averaging like 40 at the time. And so like they got to make a decision whether we keep him, we're on a 5 game winning streak. Uh he's leading the league in scoring, or do we bring in Rondae? So then they end up eventually making the switch and things like that. And then we go on to win the championship. I go on to win best import. And that kind of for me was like the humbling experience of like, this is what I need to do. I need to lock in order to, kind of just like not think about, what could have been and focus on what is right now and what's in front of me. Man, I would say when you ask, like if I question myself, I always think about it. When I sat home for 4 months, dude, I really, how many thoughts went through my head of like me not being worthy of basketball, me not being good enough, me not having the ability, like I'm sitting at the table by myself as if I'm sitting across from a general manager, a president, them having the ability to like stop anyone's dream, anyone's man, it's tough to talk about, like them being able to cut right then and there the ability for you to provide for your family at a certain level, for you to be close to home, for you to get a home cooked meal from your mom, your wife, whoever that may be. It's really tough. It's really tough to swallow. And I sat there for a while, man, literally questioning if I like what's wrong with me? You know, what's wrong with me? And I think a lot of people overlook that, you know, when they talk about the mental health, when they talk about um, really caring about somebody. It's so many players out there that are probably dealing with that battle. You talk about a guy like Kenneth Fareed, a guy like Shabazz Napier, Shabazz Muhammad, uh, the list goes on, you know, and I think that that is one of the toughest things. And because we're men, because we're the providers, we have to walk around with this bravado and this kind of mindset that we're good and that it's okay and all these things. But you can see it in the antics and the things that happen for a lot of us. It's like our our mindset and our ability to think in terms of basketball, we take a big hit. We take a big hit, man. And I don't think that's being thought about in those decisions, in those moments, which make it really tough for someone to say, uh, how am I going to get out of this? You know, how am I going to figure this out? How am I going to take this next leap? Now, you have a lot of people who really take the time to like dive into it and figure it out. But then you got a lot of people who go missing, you know, and get lost and they fall into the sunken place and nobody's there to pull them out because they were the biggest person in their way or they were the biggest person in their camp, man. And luckily, man, I've been blessed to be surrounded by wonderful people and two beautiful children and a great support system to just, you know, believe in me. And you know, with that much belief and that much care, man, it makes you it made me not give up. It made me want to continue to go. And I feel like I was put on this earth for a bigger picture, to inspire and to unite so many people, because we're lacking that. We're lacking that unity and that compassion, which is why so much chaos is going on right now. And I think that was the standout for me. Being able to be there 4 months and then go back home was what made it that much more special. And I just connected with him so much. And then having a wonderful partner, my kid's mother, um, who brought the kids over in 2023 to the World Cup. She came to the Philippines another time before school. She brought them to the Philippines. Um, I just got to give her a lot of credit. The way she supports them, the way she supports me, the way she's there for them. It means everything. So being able to see them is the motivation behind everything. You know, being able to hug my kids when they run up to me and they say, "Daddy, Daddy." We got a little song. It's like, "Daddy's back." Daddy's back. So like hearing them say that, it recharges me, it refuels me. So I look forward to always seeing them and those things kind of. So it being 4 months has that's what made it stand out to me. If it ever is a time where it feels like I'm going 8 months, 10 months away, then that might be the time where I'm like, all right, I think I need to be done.
This the cool thing about the Philippines is that it seems like it's been a lot of good moments for you because you also went on that run with Jordan during the World Cup, and that was in Manila.
So like going back to the the Korea part when I transitioned to the Philippines and I won that championship, uh in that summer, like right after I won, it's probably won in March or something like that, April. And then going into that summer, I remember when I was in Turkey, I had a friend who played on a national team, but he was American, just like myself. And I was like, wait, this national team, it's in like the middle of Europe. And like, how are you on this national team? And I remember him saying he got naturalized. And so once I remembered that, I asked my agent, I said, yeah, is there any way I can get naturalized for a team? And so they do their homework and they're coming back to me telling me which teams are trying to or looking for someone. And then when they said Jordan, Jordan being one, I'm Muslim, Jordan being a Muslim country, it made sense. But two, they told me they were planning a World Cup and that the USA would be the USA, Greece, and New Zealand would be in our bracket. Funny story is our GM for Brooklyn, when I was there, he's still the GM, Sean Marks, is from New Zealand. So I said, it's a no-brainer. I want to play one against his country so you can see how much better I've gotten, and two against the USA because all like everyone's gonna watch that game, and it'd be cool because my family is here. You know, it's just like super special. So I was like, sign me up. I'm in. Let's do it. And and at the same time they had the Asian Olympics, it's called Asian Games as well, right after that. So I wanted to be a part of all that. And so it made sense to do it. And so right after I won the Philippines championship, because I was refreshed, I wasn't playing in Korea. I'm averaging 10 minutes a game. The games I did play, I would dominate. But for the most part, I'm recharged going into the Philippines. So that's when I stopped drinking. I stopped like I'm in bed by 9:30, 10 o'clock. I'm waking up 4 or 5 a.m. and I'm working out. I'm super locked in. And literally from then on, it was like my best basketball of my career. And that's where the I'm watching Kobe every day. I'm watching Jordan every day. I'm just like, it's on repeat every single day. Any of my teammates from Puerto Rico to Turkey to Korea, any of my teammates, every game, they'll see me on my phone. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on I'm watching Kobe. I'm watching Jordan. I'm just watching how they move. I'm watching how they're being guarded and all of these things. So like leading up to the World Cup, and I've always loved the armband and things like that. But leading up to the World Cup, I'm like, nah, this is gonna be special. And I knew it only because of the work I was putting in. I was putting in an excessive amount of work, like really locked in. And I was also nervous. I was also nervous because it's like FIBA is like the biggest stage for the world. You know, a lot of people know the NBA. It's the highest when it comes to terms of talent, money, and things like that. But as far as FIBA goes, FIBA is like universal. Everybody is watching FIBA. So when it was like something at stake to go to the Olympics, it was like I gotta be super locked in. I gotta keep this same regimen, no matter what. And you talk about during those games, I'm still waking up. Like we played a game, next morning I'm still up at 5 a.m. I make Fajar, then I go work out, and then so like I was super locked in. And then you start to hear like, oh my God, the comparison, and then the you hear the chants in the New Zealand game. Um, and it just made it that much more special because of how locked in I was. It's just I don't know. It's like one of those things, you know, how like a hockey player may hit himself or something and like turn into a different person or whatever. It was like I literally was so locked in and so like focused that I became what I wanted to be. I'm not gonna say I became Kobe. I became what I wanted to be and how I wanted to play. And I could like the noise, the chant, whatever, I couldn't hear it. I was just so locked in. And I think when I watched it and when I saw the clips, I was like, wow, like, yo, you did that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that it just became natural for me to like every game I wanted to get better. Like till this day, every game I want to be better. Every game I want to do something different. It may be I may get 3 steals one game. I want to get 4 the next game. It may be 3 blocks. I want 4 blocks. So like I'm challenging myself, every game, every time I'm in the gym to get, a little bit better. And I think that's kind of what separates me from a lot of guys. Yeah, well, based off what my agent was saying, um, EuroLeague teams immediately called uh, and was like, "Look, we want you." you know. The only thing was I was already signed to the Philippines for the next season, and I'm not gonna like go back on. They've been so wonderful to me. But yeah, EuroLeague teams definitely called. It was about 3 of them, I believe, 3, 4 of them. And then the NBA, we were speaking to teams and we were talking. Um, I just was, I was so locked in that it was like, do I want to risk the like at this point where I'm like, I'm winning the championship, I'm doing this, I'm committed to this. Do I want to risk at that point going for like a 10-day and possibly getting cut? Or have stability, and earn money for my family, take care of those things. So at that point, I had to make sure my family was good and things like that. Uh, but yeah, no, we were definitely the phone was ringing. The phone was definitely ringing in terms of basketball.
No, no, definitely.
Oh, I would say I definitely the accolades are beautiful. I appreciate every single one of them. I cherish them. But for me, because I am a family person, because I do love the word family and everything it stands for, I think the biggest and best moments for me was during the World Cup when my kids were there uh, and they're seeing and hearing these people chant for their father. I think that was like super, super special for me. It made me cry. Um, to this day, I still think about it. Um, it was a funny story. One day, we're walking after a game to eat because the gym we were playing, it was like right around the corner from the hotel. And we're walking, we're going to eat, and like a bunch of people are swarming me. My older son is like, "Mommy, why are all these people stopping Daddy?" And I can hear him, but I'm taking pictures and like I'm dying. And she's like, "Buddy, they're his fans. Like they're like basically like your dad's kind of cool." Yeah. And I was like, I'm gonna tease him about that in the future because he did it when we went to Toronto. I forgot to tell Randy this. He did this when we went to Toronto. We went to the aquarium, and outside there were Filipinos outside, and they noticed who I was, and it was like 20 of them. And he's talking to his mom, and his mom's like, "Where's your dad?" And he's like, "He's just over there with his fans." And I started dying. But yeah, I think for me, those are the proudest moments for me whenever I can have my children there to witness special moments.
That's really cool.
I would say everywhere I've been the players' English has been okay. Korea was a little bit hard. English wasn't that good. um, but we got along really well. They appreciated me, and at the end of the day, from a basketball standpoint, they appreciated how hard I worked. And I would say that in the Philippines, especially, when I got there, like I said, how locked in I was, how focused I was. I think it just rubbed off on the guys. It was like they were like, "Yo, he's so serious," and like everybody knows me. I'm like a jokester. Like I like to enjoy life, but like when it came to basketball, I was like, "Nah, you got to put your work in, dude. You got to be locked in, like, cause I'm gonna need you to hit a big shot." I'm gonna need you to get a steal. I'm gonna need you to get this rebound if I'm not in there. So like when it came to basketball, they knew how serious and how important it was to me and how much I wanted to win. And I think that spoke more than any words I can say, any, you know, any language barrier that might have stood in our way. I think is universally sound when you have a guy who works hard. Uh, and they understood that. Now, they do, like my Filipino teammates, they do speak English, some better than others. Um, and I love them. They're brothers, you know, forever. They can call me in 10, 20 years and I'll pick up the phone for them. Any of my teammates, it's just, you know, I've been very successful with these ones. So like we, you know, shared long, you know, moments and, you know, playoff runs. And I had my first game 7 this past championship, which was it was very special because I was like literally out there. If we were to play the Clips, I was out there on one leg, you know. Game 6, I ran into a speaker and hit and like I had a tear in like my abdomen. And so I played game 7, you know, thinking like it's just a little bit of pain. And at the end of the game, the last like I want to say 45 seconds, I ended up like it locked on me. My abdomen and my groin locked at the same time. And then uh, uh, we're up 3. I put us up 3, and there I'm like, Coach, I can't go back in. My legs, and so they sub someone in. Their import has to sidestep 3 to go to overtime. I'm like, I'm on the bench leaning to the side, like, oh my God, I don't know. So I'm sitting. It's funny. I'm sitting on the bench. Coach looks at me, and I can see it in his eyes, like it was one of those like, we need you, man, moments. And I'm like sitting there. And so I try to stand up, locks again. I'm like, oh my God, this might not, I might can't play, dude. So I'm sitting there, my mom's here, my girl, my best friend, a couple other people. So I'm sitting here and I'm just like, I look down and I just yell, ah, and like get my adrenaline going. And it's like you ever watch Dragon Ball Z? You like they powering up, I'm powering up. Ah. I'm gonna instantly go to Super Saiyan 5, instantly. And then I get up. And then you know, we jump ball and the game starts and I ended up finishing the game. We ended up winning. Um, and it was a beautiful moment. You know, it's the first time I won a championship in front of my mom since 2015, the Pac-12 championship. So it's been 10-year reunion of me winning something in front of my mom. So that was really special. Uh, and yeah, man, it's been a really cool journey.
That's really cool, bro.
Yeah, I would say follow a little bit because I wanna work with them. You know, I wanna help, you know, bridge the gap between coaches and players. So yeah, I definitely follow Tommy and you know how he coaches and you know the players that we've had. We've had some really phenomenal players, man, come through, but we keep falling short. And you know, I'm not gonna say I have the answers to those problems, but I feel like it's on us, like former players, the staff, to kind of like figure out what it is. How can we really like give the people what they deserve? You know, the fans, the people that show up all the time, like they want to see us in the Final Four or a championship. So how do we give them that? How do we, you know, give them some great core memories? You know, so definitely with them. And then as far as Arizona for me, it was amazing. It was amazing, the journey, the experience, the teammates that I've had, the regular students I've grown to know, the staff, uh, everyone. I think it was a great experience. I want to give a big shout out to Book Richardson, who is family, uncle to me, and you know he just really cared. He cared about every single player, whether it was a walk on, you know, or whether it was the top player. he cared about everybody the same. And I just wanted to give him a big shout out because I appreciate him. Work for them, like in terms of I want to consult with them as far as from a mindfulness player coaching standpoint, because I'm at that age where like I understand what coaches are looking for. I understand, the mindset and how how most coaches operate. I had a ton of them, different backgrounds, different areas, and then I'm a player, so I understand that piece. And I think the unique part in it is I would work out with the players. I would play with the players. Being able to still do that would help, kind of build and bridge that relationship and that gap where they feel comfortable expressing, talking to me, kind of, putting all that together where, I would take the team to eat, it would just be me and the players and things like that. I would lock in doing workouts, individuals. If coach wanted me to, take the best player in and, do an individual or, those type things. So I'm just trying to figure that out, how we can, do that and work with the team. And then Big 12, um, I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't know the specifics of why the change, but I just think it's so much history when you talk about the pack. Whether it being Pac-10 or whatever, then Pac-12, I think it's so much history with the pack that it kind of saddens me that it came, to this and that it had to make a switch. But I also love that it gives it a new flair, a new, style, and different, different, aspects of basketball where we got to go to a different place now that we wouldn't have been or we wouldn't have went to before, even in the non-conference situation. So I like it. But it still makes me, sad, especially playing in the Pac-12. You want to be like, people are going to be like in 30 years, what's the Pac-12? Like, so, yeah, man, it's definitely bittersweet, but I'm excited to see, how we continue to progress. To be honest with me, it makes me happy, it makes me happy only in the sense of like, I know these guys, I know these guys. I played against them. I seen them, a ton of times. Uh, I like Norman. He knows our UCLA Arizona days was like I don't really like you, but then we hung out, and then I'm in Toronto, and now we're like this is my boy. Like we got that one clip where he like took my hat off. It was like a viral clip. It was, like. And Norman's a great guy. He's a good guy. So like we got really close. And then you talk about Pat, like amazing athlete, like five sport athlete, like super amazing person. And like all these names you said, they're amazing people. So you see them and what they're doing and how they're still around and things like that. You just get happy for them, it's joy in my heart to see that. Wish I could be there, to still tell them they can't guard me, but things happen, and I'm just happy to see that they're still going. Oh man, I would say the difference for me is like everything slowing down. Everything is like, and now seriously, I think I was just in a rush when I was younger. I was in a rush to be be better than everyone. I was in a rush to be seen. I think that's one of the biggest things as athletes. We want to feel wanted, just as any other human being. If you're in a relationship with your wife or with your husband, whatever that may be, you want to feel wanted. And I think a lot of us in that basketball world, we just wanted to feel wanted. And I just was like, because of you can add in the traumas or anything from your past because of those things. A lot of us just need that want, we need that feeling of like, nah, this is your home, you're going to be here for 4 years. That's where you talk about the contract, the stability, and players being like, it's not that we're caught off guard because we're getting shipped out. It's just the aspect of like so much trauma built in, like them may not be felt wanted as a kid, or them going, 17 years of their life with like no father figure. All these things play a part when you're just like, well, let me ship you here, or well, I'm done with you now. So I think, all those things, um, I think they need to be more into consideration when my bad. There's just like that's an emotional topic for me, bro. For sure. That's what came from watching. Like, I'm not just watching basketball. I'm watching interviews with Jordan and Kobe. I'm studying how they're playing as they get older, the movements, different things like that. And I think for me, uh, it's funny because I used to watch. Don't lie, I used to watch like James Harden, Kyrie, Ginobili, because they're left-handed. But like, I had to wake up one day and be like, I can't. Like I'm not a shooter and a dribbler like this, and like I don't like play overly left-handed like that, and I'm not 6 foot. Like I'm not Kyrie's height, and I can't, move like him. So I said, hold on, I need to really study someone I love, like really study them and how they move and how they. So it made sense for me to watch more Jordan and more Kobe because of the build, because of the way they move and how athletic they are. It made more sense. And then I was blessed to have big hands, so like I can palm the ball and like, I don't need to two-hand grab it and do those things. I can just go straight up. So like I noticed Jordan can do that with ease and things like that. So I would take certain things and be able to utilize it. And then you talk about being able to like what's made me better is being able to like, execute a really good post up fadeaway, or like using my size to like get closer to the basket, being able to, just, jab step and shoot, or, catch and shoot. I think before, I was very hesitant on, catching and shooting, or like shooting a fadeaway, even though I know I could, do those things. I just was like in my head about it. And then once I got on my head, I feel like I said, it started to slow down. And now I know that I have these things, so that as time progresses and I'm not able to split the double team, go down the middle and dunk on two people or whatever, or a person, I know I can get to the middle of the paint, pump fake and shoot a fadeaway, or pump fake step through. Like these things where I play below the rim, I know I can do, because I've worked on it, I've studied it, and I understand it.
Are you trying to be in business? What's that looking like?
Yeah, man, I'm trying to do it all, man. I'm trying to do it all. I'm trying to incorporate a bunch of things now. I'm actually working. I don't know if you can see this behind me. After the Kobe thing and all of that, I'm trying to launch my own sneaker and call it the Cobra. It's based. I came up with that name because the snake of the Philippines is called the Philippine Cobra, and that's where the Kobe thing started. That's where, basically home is for me. So it'll be called the Philippine Cobra. And right now we're finishing the design phase. And next step is the manufacturing. So that for me is something that we can push my team, and I can push for years to come, for, just so many programs in basketball, men's and women's, who aren't sponsored by a Nike, Adidas, or, the big companies. And I feel like that's where we come in and unite these programs, and eventually, we'll start to have our own Peach Jam, our own circuit, and things like that. That's the goal. But I'm also still like, I wanted to open a school. I tried right before COVID, but I was denied when COVID happened. So like that is the goal for me. I want to open a school that stems around, mindfulness and agriculture, education, and things like that, that are necessities in our existence and who we are. Um, so yeah.
That's really cool.
I got the school idea when I was, I would say, around the time I wanted to do an after school program, which I have now after the COVID situation. But I wanted to do a school around the time LeBron was opening I Promise. He is just like inspirational. And I feel like, this is the unity piece where all athletes should understand this. Instead of me having to go out and open my own school, I've been saying this for years, and anyone to tell you this, LeBron has the blueprint. LeBron, you have, I promise, you have this school, you have so many people that would support. Now, Russ has his thing, and other people have theirs. Why not use the blueprint to go to all these other cities and all these other places with these players? It could be MLB, it could be soccer, it could be football, but it's so many players, athletes from all over the states with children who are in underprivileged areas who aren't getting the proper education that they need. Not just a math or a science. I'm talking about the universal, the life, the things that are really going on. We need to educate our children with these things. So when they come out into the real world, they understand that it's not just about Minecraft and not about Legos and not about what can mommy or daddy do for you. It's some real life things going on. People are hungry. People are like, how can we fight this, this crisis that is going on and things like that. So understanding that and really piggybacking on what's really important. How do we bring this all together? And I think that my goal is to use this school as a blueprint to go to a Shabazz Napier in Boston and bring a school like this to Boston. I have one in PA. Now we have Boston and Pennsylvania, Massachusetts and Pennsylvania. These kids are able to compete against each other educationally. We
Yeah.
can have the chess club. We can have hockey, whatever sports that we have, whatever it could be, educational competitiveness, whatever that may be. You get kids from Massachusetts who's never been out of Massachusetts to
Hmm.
go to Pennsylvania, vice versa. Kids get to see the world. And now their gadgets, they start to become more creative, more innovative. The world becomes bigger. Now they want to see Europe. Now they want to see Asia. Now it's not just I'm a victim of what I've been grown into to know. I only see what I can see. I go from home to school to this park back home. No, now you get to really experience what the world has to offer through this. My goal, um, I'll be honest. I know this is gonna shock a lot of people, uh, and some not so much. But um, are we talking about basketball or life? So I'm gonna go with life first. Life for me, my goat is my grandfather, and I say that because I watched him for years be a superhero for everyone, whether it was to make sure me and my brother got to practice. He would he had the mountain bike, and my brother, he would ride on the handlebars and I would ride in between his legs and to practice 5 miles away, up hills, down hills. And we literally had to, I couldn't I couldn't hit his leg. So I had to hold my feet up and like him being able to do that Monday through Friday, take us to games on Saturdays for years, when he didn't have a car and things like that. Him, being there for my mom, my grandma, his partner, the whole family. If they needed something, I watch him put on hundreds of thousands of miles on cars to be there for everyone. And he was reliable. He was a provider. To this day, he's my superhero. So he's definitely my GOAT from the life aspect. And then from basketball, of course, it would definitely be Kobe. Um, so many, I heard so many stories growing up about him, him being, playing in Lower Merion, being from the Overbrook area, and then me knowing people that know him, and one of my mentors, Eric Hood, who was really close with Kobe during high school and things like that. Uh, Really, used to tell me how much Kobe loved basketball, how much if you saw him in the street, he always had a basketball, or like he wasn't worried about what the other kids were worried about and things like that. Um, and it just, those stories started to, just grow on me. And then you start to watch him win, and you start to watch him in games and his mannerisms and his approach. And it just seemed fitting, and it felt like, I was really close to him, even though I only met him once. I just felt like I knew him much more than, a lot of people. And so he's definitely my basketball GOAT. May he rest in peace. And I definitely got to say, all these people that are talking about him and that are like, that have an opinion. Um, I think to be very quite frank, I think they're full of it. I think it's really disrespectful, and not even for it's okay to have a basketball opinion, but the man gave so much of his life to the game, man. It's just like at this point, I'm just like I wouldn't even say anything. If it came to I had who do you think someone asked me, Kobe or Jordan or Kobe or LeBron, or it's like I don't want to have that conversation. I want to let him rest in peace. I want his name to be what his name is through what he's done. I don't need to, even if it was I don't like his game. You shouldn't have to say that. You shouldn't have to speak on it. I think you should respect his family first and foremost. He has family, man, and he has daughters here, man. So I think you got like people should respect that and leave his name alone. Yeah.
I think people get so used to like just dehumanizing athletes and stuff, is like you said, just they want to treat them more ideologically, or not ideologically, almost as like an item, than knowing that they breathe the same air, eat the same food, drink the
Come,
same water as you.
come on, man. Talk. This is like, yo, man. Just if you got something like that's negative to say about a dead man, dude, you shouldn't speak. You shouldn't speak.
Exactly. I agree with that. He can't even defend
Like
himself.
it's like, come on, dude. Come on, man. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, yeah. Current top five. LeBron, KD, Steph, uh, Ant Edwards. Um, hmm. I'm gonna go Jokic. Yeah, yeah. I gotta give it to them. Um, and
And then
then
all time.
all time go Kobe, Jordan, LeBron. Uh, no specific order though. Kobe, Jordan,
Yeah.
LeBron. Um, I'm gonna have to go Wilt. Never seen him play. I'm just going off of what they said. He had 100 and Philadelphia. Uh, um, and I'm gonna go Shaq.
It's a pretty solid list right there. A lot of bigs.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah. Everybody's 6'6" and up, man.
yeah, y'all are gonna win by size right
Yeah.
there.